The only Protoss player in the group, he's starting to the top right. Starting for Team Empire, we have
Empire Venus.
Vines is up a game, so is his opponent, and the winner of this match will actually be 2-0 in the group and has an excellent chance of advancing. It's not out of it just yet, but, well, if you win this game, it's gonna look pretty good. To the bottom left, though, of Cloud Kingdom is his opponent, Terran player for the Slayers team. We have
Slayers Ryung.
Slayers Ryung, a very good TVT player. His TVP seems to be sometimes a weak point for him. He loses so many times in this matchup to all-ins. Every time I watch him play this matchup, I feel like if he gets all-in, he loses. If he doesn't get all-in, he just wins because his macro is really good. He just seems very vulnerable, and for that reason, I think a lot of people like to all-in him. I've seen even one-base Blinkstalker all-ins kill this guy. It's just really, really hard to defend that. It's not something you see very often anymore, but it was kind of a build that developed. I remember there was a time period where I saw Ryung lose 3 different Protosses who did Blinkstalker all-ins when he was doing one Rexus Man. We're seeing the Naniwa double gas, 2 probe, and the gas build come out here. 4 Vines, something that's becoming more popular right now.
The matchup against Protoss is by far the worst for Ryung. He has only 44% win ratio, which is really bad for a pro gamer. If you are below 50, that is usually an indication that this is really like your worst matchup by far. So he has 28 wins and 36 losses. The last game that he played, he was also at MLG Spring Arena. He lost to Grubby with 2-1. He was able to defeat Killer, though, at the same event. And we'll see what exactly he's going to do against his opponent, against Vines. Should be a good one. Should be a really good one. Vines has 51% against Terran, so he's kind of decent. Lost to Gomiho, though, in a Code A just recently with 2-0.
This has not been a good map for Ryung either. Out of the 4 games he played on it, he's only won 1 out of the 4, having a 25% win rate, whereas his opponent has won both games he's played on this map. You can see the win rates there on screen as well.
That's the GSL win rates. What I was mentioning earlier are the overall win rates, but here we have them with their matches in the GSL, and it also shows that Ryung is kind of weak against Protoss. Well, actually, no. Didn't they?
Yeah, I think it may have been swapped, yeah.
Yeah, it was swapped, so I think he's actually in the GSL. He's not too bad against Protoss, but overall, it's by far his worst.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see Vines now dropping his Nexus?
That is, by the way, something that I want to point out because I think that might confuse people. If you see the statistics at the bottom, that's regarding their GSL appearances. If we talk about the statistics in a certain matchup, we usually refer to their overall statistics
and usually,
regarding tournament games.
Korean statistics only as well, not their statistics against foreign players, because that's not usually indicative of skill. How many times you beat foreign Protosses, for example, doesn't really matter. Now, we're going to see Vines actually sneak by, potentially here with his probe. And nope, the Marines do deny him. He wants to know what's going on over there. He wants to know if his opponent's taking a command center. It's his first scout, it's late. He knows nothing about what his opponent's doing. He's only seen the Marines on the low ground. He didn't even see the bunker. So he's completely in the dark right now, and as a result, starts a robotics facility. In fact, he started earlier as well. He just wants to get...
Did it before the gates.
Yep.
Gets the scout. Yep, this SCV knows about the expansion, but that's all that he saw.
This position for Vines is pretty normal for a Protoss player in this matchup. He's going to get the Observer out, find out whether or not his opponent is teching quickly or going up to additional barracks, because that's going to make it so that he knows whether or not he needs to get Colossi, whether he can comfortably add Forges, and when he wants to take his third. I'm wondering if we're going to see Vines put some pressure on here with his 3 gates before taking the third, or if he's just going to try to take the third and defend it with gateways, making a Twilight Council now.
And he's moving out with a probe here, isn't he? So we could just well see an offensive pylon, while Stim is now on its way for... Oh, it's the Observer.
He still has a probe out, though, on the watchtower, so you may decide to use that to put a pylon.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I didn't see the probe on the minimap. Yeah, but well, the Twilight Council is coming up right now, and Ryung already has Stim halfway done, so with the Twilight Council this is going to be pretty interesting if he wants to blink up here. We've seen a lot of Blinkstalker play on this map. A lot of positions where you can just jump into your opponent's base.
Ryung has, in the past, consistently had problems with Blinkstalkers, so something to consider as well. He is getting his starport going very soon, and double Forge is going down now, as well as Blink for Vines. Going to be getting those upgrades up. He's sticking with the 3 gases for now. He's starting to bank up a little bit of chrono energy, and that's going to be mostly for those forges, so he can just continue to chrono boost them back to back without any stopping.
This will bring him so far ahead in regards to the upgrades. Usually we have Terrans trying to get a bit of a head start with early engineering base, but now we don't even have the first upgrade in production for Ryung, while double upgrades are going to kick in just a few seconds for his opponent.
Well, consistent scans for Ryung. He's been able to take out 2 observers now. The 3rd observer, though, will escape and come over to check the main base again.
If you have a good map awareness and are able to take out those observers, this is so important. This is actually brilliant. Then you can make sure that your opponent does not just get the scouting information. And Vines is getting another observer. He has 2 on the map. He's getting a 3rd.
Yes,
I really like that
he's made a total of 4 then, or 5 when this one pops out.
Yeah, I really like this. I really like when pros players use a lot of observers. They cost gas, granted, but at the same time, you kind of have, if you position them well, you have like a legal map hack.
And every time he scans, that's 270 minerals basically lost in mining, you know?
He shouldn't move them, though. He moves them too much when he sees the Terran army. I think he could avoid that. He lost another one, and that's the 3rd now.
Scan for an observer, not a terrible trade, but it does cost robo build time as well. But when you don't have a robotic support bay, I guess you don't mind.
Here's the 1-1 now for Ryung.
Blink is
halfway done with his upgrades.
Blink is done, so he should be able to defend this drop really easily.
He could actually just wait. Just wait and let him get in there, blink in and take down the medivacs. This would be the best thing for VNS, for Vines right now, and he does it.
Yep, he's gonna wait. Blinks in, 1 medevac down. Oh, just 1 stalker short each time. So he will actually lose several stalkers here.
That did not work as well as planned.
Yeah.
But still, he's taking down everything. He's taking down every single unit, even saves one of the stalkers, gets a little bit lucky here.
It could have been a much better trade for Vines. But
could have been better, but it was... Well, he killed everything.
If he had 1 more stalker, he would have actually killed the drops in 1 shot.
Yeah.
So he was 1 stalker short of doing that. Now he can take a 3rd base as he chases away this factory. He's also got the robotic support bay done. He's got 2-2 on the way, far ahead of Ryung, whose 1-1 is not even done. His observer spots the 3rd command center as well, and he's going to want to be a little bit aggressive against that. He may actually wait for a Colossus and then go.
+2/+2 started for Vines. He has the upgrades in his forge. He's chrono boosting them as well, I did earlier. And gets the extended thermal lance upgrade for his Colossi. So these upgrades are going to do a lot of potential damage, while Ryung lined up the armory quite well with his own upgrades. I guess that he will start with +2/+2 as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, the army supply is in Ryung's favor quite heavily because Vines is teching so much. He's got 2-2 on the way with Thermal Lance with Colossi while he's taking the 3rd base. That's a lot of tech to be spending money on. With Protoss, you know, you have to spend a lot more minerals and gas on tech than, for example, Terran, who just kind of gets an armory that doesn't cost too much.
Ryung does not miss a second with his 2nd upgrade wave. He immediately starts +2/+2.
Which is really important, but even so, no matter how quickly he does it, his opponent is going to be ahead.
Ghost Academy is coming up here. I don't think that he knows about the tech path that Vines chose. I don't really think that he knows about the Colossi tech, because so far he doesn't have any Vikings, and he's going for Colossi, for Ghosts here immediately.
Yeah, he's completely not, he has no information about this. Well, now he does.
Yeah,
before that moment, he had no idea.
Immediately starts, exactly.
Yeah, ship +1. 3 additional barracks are on the way as well for Ryung, who does have that 3rd base up a little bit faster than Vines had his Nexus. Mobius Reactor coming out here as well, though, as he will eventually need to start adding ghosts to the competition. I'm thinking we're probably going to see a Templar Archives pretty soon, but before that, we're seeing Vines add even more gateways. I think he just wants to do an attack on 3rd base, to be honest.
We have now a huge upgrade advantage for Vines, and if he waits for the +3/+3 to finish as well as charge, he will be in a great position here. He will definitely have a huge upgrade advantage over his opponent as soon as those upgrades hit. He has one right now, but I don't think he's going to commit to an attack that soon.
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't commit to an attack or get another... Well, okay, he's definitely going to commit. 6, gateways going up 7, 8, 9... Whoa!
He has 5
10,
already.
11. No, okay, that was just a pylon, but 10.
10, and this puts him up to 15 gateways.
I have never, ever seen this before. I have never, not even one time. I am actually really excited to see how this is going to work. He's going to make, I think, only Archons with his Templar Archive that's finishing up here. He is going to hit with 3-3 against 2-2, and he is going to go with a big push. He's now making 4 pylons at a time. His total gateway count, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be 15.
Yeah, 15.
15. I'm like, not 50. I know it looks like 50, but no, it's 15. Look at the gas he's banking here. I think he's going to make a ton of Archons and go for a big push at the third base to try to catch up with that since opponents had his third for so long.
Okay, Ryung just started his 3rd attack upgrade, but 3-3 will be done for Vines in, well, about 10 seconds.
What is this? He's like not even setting up for an attack yet. Okay, a probe is going down to try to hide a pylon somewhere, but he's leaving it undefended. If he lost that probe, everything would be lost. Here we go, Caldor. He's moving it down. Yeah. The probe starts the pylon. This is going to be the biggest gateway timing attack the world has ever seen.
He wants to hammer Ryung right here, right now. And he's moving in. He's moving in. The upgrades are done. He's maxed on upgrades. Well, if you disregard the shield upgrades, that is. We have a ton of Vikings, though. We have right now 7. 3 additional ones are going to be completed before the attack starts.
He cannot engage at this choke point. He has to go into where the third base location is. Additional pylons going down here. He's just warping in Zealot after Zealot. He will be able to remax so quickly with the gateway production he has right now. It's almost as if he saw what Parting did very quickly off of a third expansion, like a double expand, with 8 gateways, but he's doing it with a later third and 15 gateways, man.
He takes down the rocks. The Vikings trying to get into position here.
He cannot fight there. He will never be able to fight up this ramp.
I think he's going to try.
He's going to try it. This is a terrible idea. This opponent's already with a better concave.
The EMP! Whoa! The EMPs were great! And here come the Vikings, sniping the first, the second, and now the third of the Colossi. And we have a huge drop in supply for Ryung. Vines is swapping in 15 Zealots at a time.
Well, that I guess he broke through, man. He's gonna clean up the first wave, but with 15 Zealots, man, that is what those gateways were for. Wow, I've never seen this before.
This is one of the problems that were mentioned in the matchup right now.
This game's not over though, man. He's holding off these Zealots. He's got only Zealots here. He's gonna hold them off.
That is a horrible unit control by Vines. He's actually just, by Vines, he's trying to go up the choke point. And this gives Ryung the chance to take down every single Zealot. But the problem is, with the resources that Vines had, he just swaps in another round and attacks the third.
Yeah, the third will have to be lifted. And
Vines takes
from here, like, things were put to a position where now Vines actually has the better mining because he's forced to lift, but he cannot continue to engage this for too much longer. Is he going to actually try to fight again? No, he's going to go home, and Ryung now has his third base back up and running.
Well, with all the damage that he did, it's definitely something that he can do. One of the problems that Terran has right now is a Terran player, well, when you are maxed out, well, I guess we're talking about this in just a second because we have the next attack coming.
This is finally a good position for Vines.
He's charging in, he's blinking in, taking down Marauders and Marines alike, the Medivacs. While he moves in additional units, here comes another mule, the GG Mana Mule.
When I saw him going to that choke point, man, I thought, there's no way. There is no way in hell will this attack work. That's what I thought, man. His opponent has a concave. He has that many Vikings. But he had the upgrade advantage, and he had 15 Zealots to back it up. Ryung did not have that production. Even after he held for a little bit longer, the next wave was too much for him. He actually set up a flank and killed the final army of Ryung.
One of the problems that we have in Terran versus Protoss, that's something that a lot of Terrans complain about, and something that QXC kind of described in one of his blogs, is that if you're maxed out right now and the Protoss player gets a huge amount of gateways, as we've seen Vines do, then suddenly you are able to warp in a round of units immediately after the fight starts while the fight is still going on, and this will just give you a little bit of an advantage when it comes down to the army supply, because all the supply that he have is kind of instantaneous, and then the cooldown starts. While a Terran player, on the other hand, if he wants to get additional units into the game, he has to build them in the barracks and has to wait for them to be completed. So that is this difference in time where a Protoss player will already have new units on the field that he can use. And this is exactly what we saw Vines do. He moved in, lost a ton of units, but then with the pylon he warped in 15 zealots immediately and just moved in at the third. So
that was a very unique timing attack.
Something that he
never
had
seen
going for him.
anything like it, man. 15 zealot warp in.
He waited for 3-3 and then he just went in with pure force.
And he was able to break through the choke point there. He actually just went through, man.
He kind of ate the EMPs and was like, I don't care.
That was
anyways.
actually incredible to watch. I never thought I would see something like that. There were just too many zealots. The micro, after the engagement began, there was not a lot of kiting from Ryung. I think he could have done a lot more there, while the Vikings really did the extra damage to the Colossi. But next up, we're going to have Jokji against Suho Shin. Suho looking very, very strong against his earlier Terran opponent, Pole.
The thing about Suho is that he is now 1-1, while Jokji is already down 2 games. Jokji can still hope for some kind of tie situation, but if Jokji loses this game, it is over. Then he will be out of the competition for today. He will be in Code A, no chance of advancing to Code S. Suho Shin, on the other hand, would be on 2-1 if he takes the next game. So, very important match for both of them, and the map is Daybreak.
The map is Daybreak indeed. I think based on the play we've seen from these players so far in the group, it looks like Suho has the advantage. He looks like he's practiced so much for this particular matchup, CVT, whereas Jokji has had more matchups to prepare for. We're going to find out who takes this game in just a moment at the GSL up and down matches with Caldor and Wolf.